talk about the day that your husband was taken. You both were living in Santiago?
We were living in Santiago, and he had just managed to get back from Viña del Mar, where he had taken a friend of ours from New York right before the coup and was trapped there for 5 days. So he returned on Sunday, and then Monday he was going to go and find out about airplane tickets downtown. The curfew had been lifted during the day, so he and our friend Terry went down to the center of Santiago to look for tickets or a way out.
What did he see where he was?
Where he was? Well, he saw American battleships off the shore. He saw the launch of the coup in Viña del Mar. They experienced that all the roads had been blocked and the trains had been stopped that night, Monday night before the coup, which is why he knew that was happening. But he also met in the hotel that they stayed U.S. military people who were taking quite a large credit for the coup and were very excited about the success. And my husband, the journalist, knew that that was not something that anybody in the United States knew about. So he was aware that it was incredible information at that point.
And so he comes back to Santiago, to the capital of Chile. You see each other on the morning of the coup.
Yes, I guess I have to start back. He was brought back to Santiago, to the search and destroy mission that was Santiago at that time, by the head of the U.S. military group, who had come through blockades to get to Viña del Mar to see his military people in Viña. And then, because they had asked him if he would give a lift to Charles and Terry back to Santiago. His name is Captain Ray Davis, and he is an extraordinary figure in our story, and the extradition request for him was issued, was approved by the Chilean Supreme Court recently. But let me go back. So he's the one who went, again, drove through all the roadblocks because he had all of the connections with the Pinochet forces, and brought them back to Santiago, dropped them in Santiago on Saturday. They came home on Sunday. I'm sorry, I think I lost the line of your original question.
What you were doing that day, when you last saw him, and then how he was taken, how you learned he was taken.
Okay. We said goodbye as I was leaving to check on some other friends to be sure that they were okay, because there was very little communication for a week. And he was taking our friend Terry downtown to try and get a passage out. I did not get back that night because of the curfew. The buses stopped running, and as the movie Missing portrays, I was in a stairwell for the night. When I got back to the house the next morning, I found the house completely ransacked, and my neighbors told me to go elsewhere because the police or the military people that had taken my husband would probably come back. Only they didn't say they'd taken my husband. They just said they'd been there and ransacked the place. So I wasn't sure that my husband had gotten back that night. I guess it was the next day, neighbors from our old neighborhood got a call from the military intelligence saying, do you know an extremist gringo with a beard? And it terrified our neighbors, but it told us that the military actually had Charles. And the next opportunity I had, I went to the consulate and the embassy, actually, to announce that he'd been taken and that I wanted their help to find him and get him out. They were more interested in what had been taken from the house, the ransacked house. But that was the first contact I had with the U.S. officials at that point.
The role of Henry Kissinger and Richard Nixon in the Allende coup.
Well, they were responsible for the coup because they decided as soon as Salvador Allende, who was a socialist, became president of Chile, that he had to go. And Chile was not the only country where the United States then was deciding that people had to go. And Kissinger was eventually put in charge of the 40 Committee, which was given such a nondescript name because one couldn't say what it was actually about, but it was about preparing the coup. And the coup had two tracks, essentially. It had track one, which was managed by the State Department, more or less overtly. And then it had track two, managed by the CIA, entirely covertly. And Nixon allocated $10 million to the CIA to prepare for the coup, to mobilize, to have a relationship between the corporations that were interested in getting rid of Allende, and it was also supposed to activate the media, and it worked. As you said when you quoted Nixon and Kissinger saying, "We did it, but we didn't do it."